I just wanted to briefly discuss something that I don't see very actively discussed. I'm not saying that I'm the only person who's talking about this right now, and I'm just about ready to go into work. So that's why I'm in my suit. I don't dress like this just for fun. And that's also why I'm in my car. So what I wanted to discuss is investing in modern and ultra-modern sealed products and some serious concerns with it. Some things people are talking about, some things are not. So I just wanted to bring up a few points that are worth considering if you're hoarding Sword and Shield product. Now, do I think Sword and Shield product will perform well in the long term? By long term, I'm not talking about a year or longer. I'm talking about a decade. I don't know. Probably. I mean, every single set of Pokemon is basically appreciated to differing amounts. Many sets will stay flat for years and then take off when demand increases. Plasma Blast is a good example of that. I was buying boxes of Plasma Blast for almost retail, really not that many years ago. And now look at it. It's up with basically everything else black and white. The demand for the market has picked up for sealed product. But if you think about time frames, if you're talking about 10 years, that is like 40% of the entire lifespan of Pokemon. So we can judge what Pokemon has done by its past. However, past events do not predict future results. If you're talking about 10-year performance, that is very, very risky to make a prediction on what something's going to do in a time frame that is so massive that it's a huge percentage of the existing time frame that you may be looking at, right? I think Pokemon's going to be around in 10 years. I think it has incredible staying power. I don't see the demand going away. I think the weakest moments in Pokemon have come so far, but I've seen a few bear market cycles, right? And I've seen major changes in the hobby and the style and the demand for things like alt arts, full arts, trainers, energies. There are these trends that pop up and they kind of dictate the direction of the market. And I've also seen Pokemon completely fail on certain sets that have set the company back. So something I'm just saying to consider when you're holding these modern products is we don't really know what's going to happen in the future, and there are a couple of arguments against the same level of performance as prior sets. I do hear a lot of discussion about print runs. Yes, print runs are huge, but honestly, print runs don't even matter as long as the demand is higher than what the print run is. Somebody could print 1 million boxes of a set, and if there's 10 million people who want it, that is absolutely a set to buy. But that's just not going to be the case. When you're looking back, 2013 Phantom Forces and prior, which is a great set, by the way, all of those Elite Trainer boxes, which I believe were retail basically what they are today. Let's assume $39.99 at retail price for an Elite Trainer box. Those Elite Trainer boxes are now basically all worth over $1,000. That's 2,500%. If you're investing in your 401k over your lifetime, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's between 14 and 21 times performance over your lifetime. So if you're looking at 2,500% 10 years, that is absolutely ridiculous. And everybody should go to a sure deal like that, but it's not a sure deal at all. So those print runs were smaller, right? Absolutely. However, the collector's base has gotten a lot bigger. So the demand is higher, but also there was a lot less staying power. So you have people buying all these previous sets and they wouldn't put them away. They wouldn't keep them for later. They would open them. They would enjoy the cards, play it, kind of how Pokemon intends the hobby to be. Now, I think they're catering to a little bit more collector investor base more with certain types of products, but that's not how it was at all. So the demand is there, but there's just not as much of it out there. These days, the staying power is the biggest it has ever been. So you do have larger print runs, but you've got good demand. And I don't think that demand's going to go away. What my biggest concern is how much of this product is sitting on the sidelines. Are we going to, in 5 years, have this really crazy bear market in Pokemon and have a lot of product dumped on the market. The way it works when people start selling masses of product is the supply outpaces the demand inevitably. And depending on the reason, if people are freaked out and selling, if people lose their jobs, if there's a mass exodus from the hobby because people need money, especially in like sealed collectibles sector, people are going to start bidding down each other's prices. And depending on how much product there is, you can see a staggering decline. In 2021, there was a massive dip over about 3 days in Pokemon. Now, there was a long downward trend over that time period, you know, a correction, whatever you want to call it. I wouldn't necessarily call it a bear market, just because there are other types of product that are popular and are still gaining value. I mean, the Celebration Super Premium Collection is still very, very strong. Same with the VMAX boxes, the Evolutions type product. Kanazawa box. There's a lot of good products that came out that are strong, but if you're talking about base set, Fossil, Jungle, these early Wizards of the Coast sets, Neo era sets, not all of them, you know, and not all the cards, but a lot of those sets, when we're talking about singles and the cards, the underlying asset, they took a dramatic dip really, really fast, as much as 40% on certain cards. Some of those cards are down up to 75, 80%, but yeah, about 3 days was 40%. The reason for that is because of PSA getting so incredibly backlogged and then upping their game to process this enormous backlog to get caught up. They started dumping these cards. Not dumping, I'm sorry. They started returning them to the submitters, and these submitters are all listing their cards, trying to capitalize on these all-time highs in the hobby. But you literally have like 10 times the number of cards that would traditionally be on the market at once. And it affected the population reports, which is a strong measurement in terms of investing and collecting in certain cards on how many people have them. How many were graded at that grade by PSA. And that's data you can get directly from PSA. Everybody can see it. You can just search the population report. So those numbers went through the roof. And as a result, the demand went down. And also, people need to make money, so they're bidding down the prices. Prices crashed. That's something I'm concerned about with Sword and Shield. Just because of the staying power. I'm not so concerned about the mass production of it, but I'm concerned about how much of that mass production people are keeping. And it's a weird time right now. There's a lot of turbulence in the world, not even to mention horrible stuff going on with Ukraine and Russia, and I hope that turns out okay in the end for the Ukrainian people. But things happen, right? There are societal shifts. 2008, a lot of people lost their jobs, right? In COVID, initially a lot of people lost their jobs. The government stepped in, but let's say we have a repeat of 2008. Let's say all of these people lose their jobs, or like half of them who are holding all this product, and they don't have a savings, they don't have investments they can tap into, credit, whatever it may be to keep their family afloat. Well, I guarantee you their personal holding power is going to cripple when you're not able to get diapers for your baby, or you're not able to make sure your kid goes to their sports football camp, right? I mean, this is all cardboard. Family is really what matters. Cards are cool, but priorities will show themselves. And if something like that happens, which historically things like that do happen, if we're talking about a 10-year time span, I can't really name a time where we didn't have some sort of like major market correction or recession, except for the last run since 2008, 2009. So we are going a really long time period. That is due. I don't see it coming now, but I am aware that it could be coming. And when that comes, this product will flow through the market and it will dip the price. This part is where the volume comes in, the concern with that, the actual print runs. So if it wasn't a big print run, I don't even know if that would matter, because there's a lot of money. There's a lot more money now than what there was, just by people. People make a lot more money. Generation is growing up. higher paying tech jobs are available. A lot of those peak collectors, those kids, are in a different position now, right? They're in their late 20s, early 30s, and they have some money. So if these products start dipping, they will get bought. But I don't think there's enough buying power to buy all of what would be dumped into the market. And that is what could cause an absolute crash. That being said, you know, I was online at the time buying when that 40% dip happened. I didn't get a notice and hopped on. I buy cards all the time. I was buying a lot more then, specifically focusing on EX, you know, Dragon Frontiers, Skyridge, Apopolis, stuff like that. And I was able to clean up. It was very, very lucky that I was there, but I wasn't the only one. And there could be a huge buying opportunity of sealed product. But I would say in that situation, if a major correction happens like that, it might be a better buying opportunity of singles. Because if the market crashes that hard, how many of this new Pokemon base is in it for purely investment purposes? I don't know if percentage-wise it's huge, but I think by dollar amount in the hobby, it's probably much larger than the player base. Or just the regular collectors. I think the investors have a massive, massive amount of cash in it. So it's, of course, I mean, this is just speculation on what could play out, but I think it's important to say these things because it's something that's important to consider. Now, like I said, I have a lot of modern sealed product myself. I have a lot. I'm very, very bullish on it, but you're not going to have like game stonks type return on it. More likely than not, it's not going to happen because there's going to be some sort of correction that's going to set the market back. You know, right now it's not down and people shouldn't be freaking out about it. At the moment, I don't think there's a ton of risk. That's my personal opinion. You should consult a financial advisor. I feel like I have to say that, although we're talking about collectibles. I don't think there are many advisors out there. I'm sure there are some, but just be aware. Be aware. If you're buying this and investing in it and you have the cash to spare, by all means do it. I have quite a bit of the product. I also have a lot of evolutions. I also have some team up. I have a lot of Sun and Moon sets too. And I've also got, you know, like I said, evolution. I've got XY product as well. I don't have the really old stuff just because it's so expensive, and the rate of return, probably like a lot of people think, is going to be way better if you're getting it at retail, right? And it does age out to $1,000, which I think it very well could. But you could be waiting like 12, 15 years. And if you're okay with that, if that's the expectation, then I think there's a good chance that cards will outperform every single asset class. But the journey is going to be super, super rough. And there's going to be times where you absolutely question your decision if you have a large position in it. That's why diversification is so incredibly important in this. But yeah, anyway, that's all I have time for. I have to get to work, but just wanted to let everybody know kind of what I thought on that, and I will make another video soon.